going into the next thing, a lot happened this summer with the big beautiful bill and a lot of legislation in Congress that you guys were, even before this year, in previous Congresses, you guys were trying to do things to modernize, would that be the right word? Reform, whatever.
Yeah.
The NFA, the National Firearms Act.
Right.
And I know there was a couple of years ago, or last year it was, you guys were trying to get the $200 tax stamp allocated to Pittman-Robertson.
Yeah, exactly. I always say the struggle is there's a lot of people that hunt out there that either don't realize silencers are legal or they don't realize you can hunt with them. So if you can find ways to, blend the two together, it's helpful. Yeah. But, our lobbyist works in the conservation groups, and, he kind of came to us and said, hey, it's going to be impossible to get a Hearing Protection Act to go through and get silencers deregulated with a Democrat Biden in office. It's just, he's not going to sign it.
Right.
So are there other alternatives or things that we could do that would benefit, the customer and also conservation?
Yeah.
And his recommendation was, hey, because the $200 tax stamp is going to be eliminated, but since 1934, it's gone directly to the U.S. Treasury.
Right.
So it's not earmarked for anything.
Yep.
So the thought was if we could take that $200 tax stamp that our customers are paying and direct it towards Pittman-Robertson, which goes to conservation, that would be great.
Right.
And so there were a lot of things. One was build more awareness that suppressors are lawful. You can hunt with them.
Yeah.
Also, my concern was there's several states that have talked about making silencers illegal at a state level.
Right.
So if they start getting conservation money in Washington and Oregon and some of these states that you feel like could potentially make silencers illegal at some point at a state level, then hopefully if they're getting those dollars in, they would say, hey, maybe we should make these illegal because it's funding our game fish and parks for our state.
Right.
So there was a lot of, thought that customer wouldn't feel like they were just giving $200 to the government. Who knows where it went?
Right.
It was going to conservation.
Yeah.
It would have been the largest sort of injection of capital into Pittman-Robertson at one time. So, last year there was 1 million transfers of silencers, so $200 million would have been a big.
That's a big chunk of money.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I think people were, later down the path, they heard that and they thought, oh, you guys weren't supporting deregulation. Well, this was during the Biden administration when he was not going to sign anything anyway. We were just looking for something. And it's interesting because we have, 2 lobbyists that are part-time. We're 1/100th of their total revenue. So we don't have a huge impact in DC, but they've helped us with compliance things as well. They've done things that helped us make our process easier. So again, the thought was we can't really impact the market when you have a Democrat in the presidency at the time. So and that's the only time we've really had a lobbyist was during Biden's administration and then now this year.
Yeah, it's interesting for people who, I get the notion where you say, I don't do politics. Right? I wish I didn't have to do politics also. Don't we all?
Oh, for sure.
But when you realize politics is a reality of conservation, of funding, of access, of regulation, of all compliance, you have to play the game, if you want to call it that, or you got to be present. And when you are there, you have to understand the sideboards and the realities of what's possible.
Totally, yeah.
Right? Policy is the accomplishment of the possible, you're not going to accomplish the impossible.
Right.
So if anyone thinks that with the Biden administration you're going to get a full-on change of, ATF and the NFA and the Hearing Protection Act, good luck with that.
Yeah.
So you have to look at what's possible. What are the points of progress that we can make?
Yeah, totally.
And I've read and heard so many of the things out there about, the Silencer Central is against this and is against, they're behind the scenes, they're this. And I know your lobbyists in DC and we had the benefit of some discussions on this and they were laying out to me, here's what's really possible. First of all, you need 60 votes in the Senate to kill to stop debate, the filibuster, and actually come to a vote. Well, in most instances, 60 in today's world of just partisanship.
It's a high bar.
Yeah. So you got to work with where you can make progress and what you can do.
Yeah.
And then you guys had some thoughts and ideas of how to effectuate some change under the current administration.
Yeah.
And we got some of it. We got
Yeah.
the $200 stamp is
Yeah.
going away.
And I mean, I think the other thing is people don't realize that Silencer Central also owns Banish suppressors.
Right.
And so, I publicly said, we did well over $100 million in sales there last year.
Yeah.
So if the market was completely deregulated where dealers could sell them like a regular firearm, we would obviously benefit significantly.
Yeah.
So there would be no reason. I mean, people read Silencer Central makes the process simple, yes,
Yeah.
but we also own another brand that we would have benefited greatly from.
Yeah.
So, I think that, people were making, comments online that someone's working behind the scenes. So then they were trying to look for somebody. And, we were probably an easy target because we'd worked on conservation stuff before. But you're right. I mean, I stopped reading the things online. But when I would read online that we were trying to conserve the tax stamp because we were supporting conservation, I was like, they need a thicker dictionary to figure out what conservation means. And, it's unfortunate. But, it is what it is.
Yeah. It is what it is. But knowing what was going on back there, because I was back there last year, I've been back there twice this year, and being involved with a lot of the industry people, NSSF and congressional sportsmen, I can pick up the phone and have a conversation to find out what's really going on.
Yeah.
And so when people with these small YouTube channels and these blogs and stuff, you're like, have you been back there? Well, I heard it.
Yeah.
You feel like you're down at the bar or something. And it's unfortunate that in the shooting space, so many people want to eat their own.
No, I hear that a lot. No, you're right.
It's so unfortunate because we have so much progress that could be made.
Totally.
Both shooting, hunting, conservation. And when we end up in this, well, we need to have a boogeyman. Someone's got to be our enemy today.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
This is progress? No.
Oh.
So, as someone who can get to the source of what the facts are, I challenge every one of those people. When they show up on my platforms and start talking that stuff, I'm like, really? Show me where.
Yeah.
Because when I was back in D.C., I talked to their lobbyists. I talked to some people went to a baseball game with some people who are working on this.
Right.
And I know who's on the right side.
Yeah.
And you guys were on the right side of all this stuff. So.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, but it bothers me from the bigger picture of, I view that every time, no matter what administration, there's some progress to be made. And sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. Sometimes the progress is just not getting pushed backwards. And when we waste this energy bickering and picking on somebody who's out there actually doing things that are to our best interest, I'm not that good at biting my tongue anymore.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't think we had anticipated that, there would be this big of a, debate about the situation. And I mean, we sort of took the position that we're flexible, we're willing to negotiate. And the reason why is, you probably know I'm on the Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation board, and then I'm on the NSSF board.
Yep.
And then also we have really good, because we're a smaller state, I have good, relationships with our elected officials. We have, Senator John Thune's the majority leader. We have Rounds, Dusty. I mean, I have cell phones for all these guys. So I kind of have a pulse of, we were told before the session started that 4 U.S. senators went to the parliamentarian and said, could Hearing Protection Act ever get through? And she basically said no.
Right.
So the feedback for me was, we better have a backup plan.
Yeah.
So, we had the idea of, hey, let's get rid of the tax stamp as a backup if this can't go through.
Right.
And then they thought we were pushing that, and then it created, sort of blew up. But, like I said, it is what it is. I mean, I think that obviously there's more work to be done. We would love to deregulate them. We would definitely benefit from that. And I'm hopeful eventually it will, maybe eventually through legislation or even through litigation. So. I think we're getting closer every day. More people that you have own suppressors, there are more people to then educate their elected officials who then go vote. So,
yeah, because your business, all of us would benefit from a deregulation of suppressors. And it's just so ironic that when you think about firearms in Europe, they're so highly regulated.
Yeah.
But suppressors, if you don't have one on your firearm, they look at you like, what are you doing without having a suppressor on that thing?
Yeah, totally.
It's like going and buying green bananas or something.
Yeah, totally.
And over here, you got to go through the full background check, get the tax stamp.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we can get to that point.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting too, because most people don't realize from a conservation perspective. So now that the silencers come January will be deregulated, there'll be no tax on them.
Right.
So that's unlike every other firearm where they either pay 10 or 11% that goes to Pittman-Robertson.
Right.
So if silencers were deregulated and treated like a regular firearm, you'd just see an 11% tax put on them, and then that would benefit conservation.
Right.
So there is a benefit for the conservation groups to get behind the deregulation of suppressors. So there's a nice, you know, sort of synergy effect there. So there's ways to get it done.
Yeah.